Welcome to the MCTV Weekly News Update. I'm Janiszewski.
And I'm Nadia Ahmed, and this is our first broadcast of the spring semester. Welcome back. Here are this week's top news stories.
But first, two breaking stories. A Metro North train has struck two cars north of the Malavenda train station on the Harlem line, killing at least 6 people. The crash, which occurred at approximately 6:30 p.m., ignited an explosion of both cars. Those who were unharmed were able to evacuate the train through the rear train car. The deceased include 1 passenger in the car and 5 others from the train. There are believed to be multiple other injuries.
We also break with one more tragic news from the Middle East. ISIS has released an undated video which appears to show the death of Jordanian pilot Murtha. The pilot, who was previously held captive, is pictured in an orange jumpsuit standing outside of an outdoor cell, where he then appears to be set on fire. This is the third extremely graphic and disturbing video released by the terrorist group this week. According to Jordanian officials, the execution may have taken place as early as January 3rd.
In more ISIS news, the Japanese standoff with ISIS has once again ended in tragedy as the militant group has released a second video of hostage Kinji Gobo being beheaded. This beheading is apparently in response to Japan's failure to meet the demands set forth by ISIS last week, calling for the release of the terrorists from Jordan. A video ends with describing the struggle against ISIS, a, quote, unwinnable war, and telling viewers, quote, let the nightmare for Japan begin. President Obama and Japanese Prime Minister Abe plan to stand together in the fight against ISIS.
Moscow's largest public library went up in flames late Saturday night. The Academic Institute of Scientific Information on Social Sciences contains over 14 million volumes, holding the largest number of Slavic language texts in Russia. The collection holds early parliamentary reports dating back to the 1700s. A problem with the electrical circuits is likely the cause of the blaze. The fire caused extensive damage to the roof, and more than 1 million historic documents have been destroyed.
While some pieces of history have been destroyed, new ones are being uncovered. A new dinosaur has been discovered in China. Canadian paleontologists have unearthed the bones of a 160-million-year-old creature. The bones are over 50 feet long and closely resemble the mythological dragons of Chinese lore. Called the Qiji Yang Long, or the Dragon of Qiji Yang, the dinosaur has a neck close to half the length of its body. The findings can soon be found in a museum in Qiji Yang. I find it incredible how, even after all these years, paleontologists are still able to find new dinosaur remains.
Yeah, I was going to say exactly the same thing. I mean, that millions and millions of years ago, I don't understand how they're still finding so many, and I think dinosaurs are an incredible thing.
I personally find them terrifying, just the idea of
really?
them. But knowing that they're still being discovered is incredible to me, even though I have this unlogical fear.
Well, don't worry, they're not around anymore.
Oh, absolutely.
From China to the Middle East, Pakistan is taking matters into their own hands to protect their children. We go to Michelle Stockman at CNN with the story.
Officials say a student from Bard College in Dutchess County was aboard Amtrak train number 238, traveling from New York City to Albany January 25th. Officials were notified Friday that the student tested positive for the measles. The State Department of Health is now on high alert, thinking the student may have exposed other passengers. Health officials are asking anyone on that train who hasn't been immunized and has a fever to call their doctor or local emergency room before going in for care. According to the State Department of Health, measles is a highly contagious respiratory disease that is spread by nasal or throat secretions of infected people and in rare cases can be deadly. Symptoms include runny nose, cough, slight fever, reddened eyes, and sensitivity to light.
It's something to be concerned about and something to be aware of.
It was business as usual today at the Rensselaer train station. All the passengers I spoke with say although they are immune to the contagious virus, they have their concerns.
I do have my mask with me, and I intend to be careful.
That's Deborah Goichman of Corinth. She had a double lung transplant 4 years ago and has to take medicine that suppresses her immune system.
Well, it makes me more susceptible to anything that's around. I did have the measles as a child, and I am fully immunized, but it's a risk and it makes me nervous.
For Jay Harrington of Fonda, he tells me this news should make parents want to immunize their children.
I know a lot of people think that vaccinations cause autism or other problems. There's really no record of that, and vaccinations save lives, especially for children.
Just still say.
That was actually a package on measles in Westchester County. My apologies. Ticket brokers had to call an audible after hundreds of Super Bowl tickets never arrived. Patriots and Seahawks fans around the world, around the United States, paid over $2,000 for tickets from a resale website and never received their tickets in the end. Typically, brokers buy tickets from ESPN for a regular price and resell them through their own sites. Unfortunately, these brokers resold their tickets for too low of a price, leaving them in debt. Arizona Attorney General Mark Brnovich told ESPN that as of now, the issue looks like, quote, a civil matter where there might be damages between the patron and person who sold them the tickets. Let's wish these fans better luck with their ticket purchases for next year's Super Bowl. I mean, Super Bowl tickets are so expensive to begin with, so to not actually get your ticket and not get to go to the Super Bowl, I mean, that's crazy.
Absolutely, and just imagine like waiting for it just in such anticipation and then just being like, I don't have it, I don't understand, and then being out of $2,000 to boot.
Yeah, or more sometimes.
Exactly.
I haven't even looked at tickets for the Super Bowl because I know I can't afford that, but I feel bad for those people.
Absolutely. Hopefully they end up getting their money back. Yeah. Well, in other news, while hundreds of fans were stuck unable to watch the game live, a former Patriot was banned from watching the big game at all. And Erin Hernandez's trial is now underway for the murder of semi-pro football player Odin Lloyd Hernandez. Hernandez has pleaded not guilty against the charges of first-degree murder. Hernandez's fiancée, Shayna Jenkins, is also involved in the case and has pleaded not guilty to charges of perjury and lying to the jury. Well, I find it amusing that the Patriots even won the Super Bowl this year, and this former Patriot just couldn't even watch it. And it's just, I feel bad for him in a sense, but he obviously did it to himself.
Yeah. Well, what about you? Were you a Patriots or a Seahawks fan?
I'm from Connecticut, so I have to say that I am definitely a Patriots fan, even though I'm not a big football fan. But what about you?
I'm actually a Jets fan, so
Okay.
I was indifferent, but I was actually rooting for the Patriots.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, I
so-
mean, New York, New England, not too far.
Yeah,
Hey,
but a couple years ago it was Giants, Patriots, so.
So then you had your allegiance, but this year you can swing. Well, now for our sports report with Matt McNamara.
Thanks, guys. It was a terrific week in sports, so let's begin. America's favorite sporting event, the Super Bowl, aired this past Sunday to a television record 144 million viewers. The Patriots came back to edge out the Seahawks 28-24 in a final drive that included one of the luckiest catches ever by Jermaine Kearse and one of the most controversial last play calls by a team, with the Seahawks throwing the ball on the 1-yard line, where Russell Wilson was picked off by Malcolm Butler, resulting in the Patriots' fourth Super Bowl victory in 14 years, with Tom Brady winning yet another Super Bowl MVP award. Was this Coach Pete Carroll's fault? Should they run the ball with Lynch? Could that nationwide commercial have been any more depressing? Unfortunately, I don't have all the answers to these questions, but all I can say is that it was a Super Bowl for the ages. In other sporting news, former Texas A&M star quarterback and current struggling Cleveland Browns quarterback Johnny Manziel recently entered himself into rehab. Manziel, who is known for frequently partying and drinking heavily, is trying to fix his behavior in the offseason in order to become a better person and football player. In Marist sporting news, the Marist men's basketball team completed the West New York road sweep of Niagara and Canisius for the first time in school history. In the latter game, Marist senior Siobhan Lewis lit up the Golden Grips with a career-high 35 points on his 22nd birthday, helping Marist win their third straight game, improving to 4-18 overall, 3-9 in the MAC. The Marist women's basketball team edged out rival Iona in New Rochelle, 63-58, with a big boost from Tori Jarose, who had 20 points and 8 rebounds. I'm Matt McNamara, and that's all I got for sports this week. We'll be right back after this commercial break.
Welcome back. Last week, a measles outbreak started in Disneyland and now spread to 14 U.S. states. Parents of America's anti-vaccine movement are being blamed for what many see as a preventable public health crisis. The highly contagious disease was eliminated from the U.S. 15 years ago before a growing number of parents started refusing to vaccinate their children. Arizona health officials have warned that 1,000 people may have been exposed to the virus and urge anyone with symptoms to stay home if they have not been vaccinated.
Apparently, measles have a tendency to ride the Amtrak. Here's Jennifer Lee with the story in case you missed it last time.
Officials say a student from Bard College in Dutchess County was aboard Amtrak train number 238, traveling from New York City to Albany January 25th. Officials were notified Friday that the student tested positive for the measles. The State Department of Health is now on high alert, thinking the student may have exposed other passengers. Health officials are asking anyone on that train who hasn't been immunized and has a fever to call their doctor or local emergency room before going in for care. According to the State Department of Health, measles is a highly contagious respiratory disease that is spread by nasal or throat secretions of infected people and in rare cases can be deadly. Symptoms include runny nose, cough, slight fever, reddened eyes, and sensitivity to light.
It's something to be concerned about and something to be aware of.
It was business as usual today at the Rensselaer train station. All the passengers I spoke with say although they are immune to the contagious virus, they have their concerns.
I do have my mask with me, and I intend to be careful.
That's Deborah Goichman of Corinth. She had a double lung transplant 4 years ago and has to take medicine that suppresses her immune system.
Well, it makes me more susceptible to anything that's around. I did have the measles as a child, and I am fully immunized, but it's a risk and it makes me nervous.
For Jay Harrington of Fonda, he tells me this news should make parents want to immunize their children.
I know a lot of people think that vaccinations cause autism or other problems. There's really no record of that, and vaccinations save lives, especially for children.
Vaccinations don't tend to scare people nearly as much as the idea of getting surgery. Doctors say no more to breaking this scary news to patients and being tuned out. New 3D medical education applications for both iPhone and Android devices are making things easier. The images of various body parts from multiple angles allow surgical patients to fully visualize their injuries. The goal is to calm the feelings of anxiety and hopefully speed up the healing process.
Now, if we could only understand what's going on with this weather, here's Clancy Burke with your weekly highs and lows report.
Thanks, Kat. Well, it looks like Marist students returned from break just in time to enjoy a winter wonderland. But Poughkeepsie wasn't the only town that received snow. Blizzard-like conditions swept over Atlantic Canada over the weekend and will return early this week. Heavy snowfall is expected Tuesday morning, followed by a prolonged period of rain. The storm will travel north in the form of heavy, dry snow before tapering to flurries on Thursday. The United States, unfortunately, was hit just as hard by the harsh winter weather. The storm battered the southwest midweek and then moved into the east coast on Saturday. By early that evening, hundreds of accidents were reported in Buffalo. This was caused by the heavy snowfall and freezing drizzle. Winter storm warnings remain in effect for parts of Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, southeastern New Hampshire, and Maine. Now let's get back to what's happening in our neck of the woods. Well, it doesn't exactly take a weatherman or weatherwoman for you to know that it has been absolutely freezing out lately. Today we had a high of 22 degrees and a low of 12. But that's nothing compared to today's low, which was negative 12, which I don't even want to know what that feels like. And I'm not trying to bundle up even more than I have been lately. The sunrise and the sunset were at the normal times for this time of the year. And if you ask me, it's a bit too early for the sunset. We'll be having mostly sunny with temperatures will remain low for the rest of the week with snow showers on Friday and Sunday. Well, that's all I have for you this week with your weekly highs and lows report. I'm Clancy Burke. Back to you guys.
So how do you feel about all this crazy cold weather we've been having?
I don't mind the snow. I think it's beautiful, but the cold, yeah, I could do without. Maybe if it stays like this, okay, but if it gets any colder than this, not a happy camper. I don't want to leave my house.
I am already done with leaving my house. I had to go to an early class this morning, and it was absolutely awful. I tried to talk on the phone without gloves on, and I couldn't feel my hands, and I hate the winter.
We need to invest in the texting gloves.
I think I do. I really do, but I cannot wait for summer. That's my time.
Absolutely. Spring break.
Absolutely. Well, thanks, Clancy. On Saturday, the National Highway Safety Commission recalled 2 million vehicles off the road. The vehicles had an issue with the car's sensors as well as airbags, inconsistently opening during vehicle crashes. Vehicles part supplier TRW made the car part, and manufacturers will replace all of the sensors with completely new parts.
Texas has declared yesterday, February 2nd, Chris Kyle Day. Governor Greg Abbott tweeted that the day would be a way to, quote, honor Texas's military heroes, as well as a fallen son. Kyle, a Texas native, was killed in 2013 and is considered one of the deadliest snipers in history, with 160 confirmed kills. Kyle's story can be seen in the film American Sniper, with Bradley Cooper starring as the Navy SEAL. The film has been nominated for 6 Academy Awards and remains as the top film of the box office.
Chris Kyle passed away in a shooting, which unfortunately is not the only sad news involving guns. A 3-year-old in Albuquerque shot both his parents on Saturday. The toddler was reaching for an iPod and ended up with a loaded weapon, shooting both parents with the same shot. The bullet passed through the father's right buttocks and hit his mother, who is 8 months pregnant, in the shoulder. The injuries are not life-threatening, and both parents are recovering. The children have been taken into care, and it is not yet clear whether the parents will face negligence charges. I cannot believe all of this gun violence that we've been having. I'm not really on either side of the gun debate, but I just think it's awful that people just keep getting shot.
Yeah, I mean, in this situation, why was the gun out? Why
Absolutely.
Was a child, a 3-year-old, right, able to get to a gun and accidentally shoot his parents? Like,
yeah, it's absolutely tragic, and I just feel for that family, and especially now that the kids aren't even going to be with the parents, for better or for worse.
Yeah, I'm just glad that they're okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, we're going to take a commercial break, then we'll be back with some tragic news about our neighbors at the Culinary Institute. Stick around.
Conveniently located right across from campus, Peerage is open until 2:30 a.m. on weeknights and 4 a.m. Thursday through Saturday. Their extensive menu includes a variety of appetizers, soups and salads, gourmet pizza, and homemade entrees. Specialty pizzas are sold by slice or by pie and include chicken bacon ranch, buffalo chicken, baked ziti, garden, and many more. Be sure to try new this semester, the Bus, a sandwich that can satisfy even the biggest appetite. Stop in today or call to place an order.
Okay. Do we really have
Yo, Drew, I got your text. What's up?
I don't know. Jake's been quoting lines from Pulp Fiction all day.
Yo, Jake, what's up?
I don't remember asking you a goddamn thing.
What are you even saying?
Say what again?
Who say what?
Does he look like a bitch?
We are literally the only two people in this room right now.
That is a tasty burger.
Do we call a doctor or something?
I will strike down upon thee with great vengeance and furious anger.
Now that's a threat.
The Middle Seats, every other Thursday, only on MCTV.
This week, the Culinary Institute of America mourns the tragic death of one of their own. A 19-year-old sophomore was hiking with friends at the FDR estate on Saturday when he was electrocuted by low-hanging utility wires, believed to be owned by Amtrak. First responders had to, quote, walk through the woods to locate the young man and perform CPR on him. He was brought to Mid-Hudson Regional Medical Center, where he later passed away. An investigation will be launched into how the hiker came in contact with the wires.
It seems the CIA isn't the only college facing unwanted attention this week. Sometimes it may seem too quiet in the library, but at least there's nothing indecent going on. A former student of Oregon State University is being charged with public indecency after a video of her acting sexually inappropriate in the library surfaced on Pornhub last Tuesday. 19-year-old Kendra Sutherland faces a $6,000 fine and a 1-year sentence for her 31-minute video. This just seems like a really odd story.
Yeah.
And just kind of creepier than anything I've really heard this week.
I mean, I'm sure her parents are not happy about this.
Yeah, absolutely. I can't imagine just what was going through this girl's mind as she was doing this.
Why the library? That's what I want to know.
Yeah, that's a good point. I hadn't even thought about that. Why the library?
Who knows? In some more positive news, Disney has announced plans to include a new princess in their lineup, named Elena of Avalor. The new princess has been described by Disney and Disney Jr. as, quote, a confident and compassionate teenager in an enchanted fairy tale kingdom, inspired by diverse Latin cultures and folklore. The Latin American princess will debut on the Disney Junior show, Sophia the First. After appearing on the children's show in 2016, Elena will star in her own self-titled television show on Disney Junior. Creators seem to be going in a slightly different direction with Elena, as they are not producing a feature film centered around her actress. Actress Amy Carrera of ABC Family's hit show Young and Hungry is set to voice Elena. On the topic of entertainment, we go to our expert, Andrew Auger, with your weekly entertainment news. Andrew, what's going on in the entertainment world this week?
Hey everyone, welcome to the 2015 spring semester. This is This Week in Entertainment. If you remember back to last semester, I did a big, overblown, pun-laden intro to the news that Katy Perry would be playing at Super Bowl 49. I've had plenty of time to meditate in my convent in the Poughkeepsie woods, as far as you know, and here's my immediate reaction to Sunday's performance. First of all, Katy Perry should never be criticizing anyone for being over the top ever again. That would be like the sun calling one of the stars too bright, like you're the source of the imitators, dummy. This halftime show seemed to star the kitchen sink, as there were so many memorable moments. The steampunk tiger, the dancing beach balls and trees straight from Pee Wee Herman's LSD dreams, the shooting star, when we learned that Missy Elliott doesn't actually work at a McDonald's and is still a pretty dope rapper. Everyone seems hung up on the Sharks, though. So was I. Not only was I hoping for Henry Winkler to jump over the big things, but I also was hoping that one of them would start doing the worm so it looked like kind of like a flopping fish. I look for realism in my Super Bowl halftime shows, just like I look for realism in my celebrity couples. Jessica Biel and Justin Timberlake took the ultimate step to seems legit, as Justin announced through Instagram that the two would be welcoming their first child. Now I know what you're saying. Andrew, does it really take a baby to prove that a relationship is legit? First of all, I'll ask the questions here. Second, yes, it totally does in entertainment. We've seen full weddings be just publicity stunts, so you better start procreating if you want me to completely believe in your marriage. One thing I can't believe is how well American Sniper is doing at the box office, as it topped the charts for the third straight week. The potential abyss of the Super Bowl weekend didn't scare away male audiences, as the film almost set a record for the big game with $32 million. Paddington edged out newcomer Project Almanac for second by about $5,000, while Kevin Costner's Black and White opened soft with $6 million. This week, everybody's favorite Sponge is back with the SpongeBob movie, Sponge Out of Water. Channing Tatum and Mila Kunis star in sci-fi adventure Jupiter Ascending, and Jeff Bridges headlines the long-delayed Seventh Son. That'll do it for entertainment this week. I'm Andrew Auger. That's all I have to say. You can catch my show, The Middle Seats, academically every week, only on MCTV. Back to you guys.
Well, I'm proud, Andrew, that you calmed down a bit over that Katy Perry debacle.
I am too.
Everyone's favorite fast food chain is making a move across the world and around the corner. McDonald's is remodeling a standalone McCafe in Sydney, Australia. Last month, naming its simple design with espresso machines and the rebranded cafe seems to be the fast food giant's attempt to break into the growing high-end coffee market, comparable with other chains like Starbucks and Dunkin' Donuts. With McDonald's new business venture, the U.S. coffee sales are expected to grow by $5 billion before 2018. Sorry for the technical difficulty.
Well, Crafted Cup was actually a pre-existing business when my partner and I purchased it. So they operated it for several years. And then my partner and I heard about the opportunity. We also own Cafeteria New Paltz across the river. So heard about this opportunity and spoke with them. One thing led to another, and then we purchased the business from them. We're primarily a coffee house. So our focus is on espresso and coffee. We use all locally roasted, certified fair trade organic coffees and teas. Our teas are local as well through Harney & Sons. We do a local bakery, supplies most of our baked goods and bagels and various snacks and things. So for right now, our primary focus is beverage. We definitely have our regulars that come in for their latte or their regular drip cup of coffee, but probably our most popular specialty beverage is Café Miel. And it's a latte, it's a double shot of espresso, steamed milk with honey and cinnamon. So it's really nice, it's naturally sweetened, not too sweet, and the flavors just play off each other really well. All of our coffees are local roasted, they're certified fair trade organic, really high quality products and ingredients. Anybody can make coffee, anybody can make espresso or make a latte, but it takes a certain finesse or practice to make one correctly, to make one really well. And I think there are lots of other shops out there, you know, the corporate shops like Dunkin' Donuts, Starbucks, and things like that, where you can definitely get a latte at, but it's all automated. There's no finesse, there's no skill behind what they do. And we spend a lot of time training our baristas to really know what they're producing and to consistently produce a high quality beverage every time. And it makes a difference. You can taste it. Anybody in the community should help support their own community. And a lot of times colleges and students, college is a very inclusive experience a lot of times. So getting off campus doesn't always happen, but I think it's really great that they help support the community because we all help support them as well. To have a place where you can come and sit, study, have a nice cup of coffee, there's Wi-Fi, that sort of thing, I think it's a draw in and of itself.
I come here at least 3 times a week. I get a lot of things done here.
They're fantastic latte, and the guys who work there are particularly friendly. It combines the atmosphere of both like kind of chilled out work, not too stressed. I feel like I'm not like wasting away my day in the library, but still maintaining some happiness.
Food's a lot of things. Food's necessary. You gotta eat, but you don't have to necessarily eat something that's delicious. But why not, right? If you're gonna eat, might as well be something that's amazing. So, food is more than just sustenance. I think it's culture, it's community, it's a passion, and it's a chance to experience all kinds of things every single time you sit down for a meal. We're here to serve them, and that's really what it comes down to. You know, we love what we do, we're passionate about what we do, we're passionate about the products and the quality of what we serve, but we want to hear from you guys as well, because we just really want to serve the best we can possibly serve. And you know, we're fortunate that I feel like we've tapped into sort of a good community that really understands what we're doing and why we're doing it. So we want to make sure what we do here is truly what our customers and our guests are looking for.
Some school suspensions are warranted, but then there are some that are just precious. An elementary school in Kermit, Texas has suspended 9-year-old Aiden Stewart for frightening another student with the titular ring from J.R.R. Tolkien's The Lord of the Rings series. According to the child's father, the family had seen the most recent Hobbit film the past weekend, and Aiden was so inspired by the film that he threatened to use the ring to make his unnamed classmate disappear. Despite the story, Stewart has no magical powers, nor does his ring. I think this is just kind of silly. I mean, why suspend a little kid who's just playing on his imagination? He saw a movie, that's where he learned it from. There was no harm done.
Absolutely. I think it's just a kid being a kid. I think at some point we all had some sort of fantasy over some movie that we saw, and it was never escalated to this point. Maybe he shouldn't threaten a kid, but that should be just talked about with his teacher instead of suspending him over his imagination.
Yeah, exactly. He's young. He doesn't really know any better.
Absolutely. Well, sometimes you just think to yourself, like, what's up? Well, with some people, and what are they thinking? Here at MCTV, we think that ourselves often. Here's Brianna Flynn with What's Up.
Thanks, Kat. And what's up, Marist? I'm Brianna Flynn, hoping you all had breaks filled with your dad yelling at you for forgetting to do your laundry, pretending not to be annoyed by your high school friends, and not completing any of the work that you said you'd get done. Now that we're back in good old 10-degree Poughkeepsie, I have to ask, what's up with these snow days? I can't say I'm complaining. As a senior, these days off are pretty much the only times where I can actually sleep. And the security guard in Fulton yesterday told me and my friends to watch Netflix and drink wine, which is advice a girl can always take. But luckily for me, I'm not one of those students in those Monday night classes. At this point, that Easter Monday night class period is actually going to be super important. Going on week 3 of having no class would seem pretty exciting if it was like an ethics class, but even then, 3 nights of being free to watch The Bachelor just doesn't seem worth the tuition that's going completely out the window. And listen, I don't even watch The Bachelor, but everyone's had so much free time to tweet about it that I know exact play-by-plays of each episode. Anyway, good luck to all you people who have yet to meet your professors. I hope your midterms go great. Classes aside, us Red Foxes have run into some other issues because of all this snow, including constant shoveling, having to trudge to Donnelly to do all your important work, and the fact that student activities keeps closing. How am I supposed to have any fun stuck inside if I can't rent any board games? Even John Gildart has been thrown off by these snow days. If there's nothing else that proves Marist is close to falling apart, it's that sent from my iPhone correction email. Don't worry, buddy, it'll all be okay. Luckily for us, we're being able to get back into the MCTV business despite Storm Linus cramping our style. Let's hope these next snow days that I'm assuming we'll eventually have don't entirely screw up the rest of the semester. I'm Brianna Flynn, and that's what's up. Back to you guys.
That's all we have for you tonight. Thank you for watching. We hope you join us next week. I'm Nadia Ahmed.
And I'm Janiszewski. Good night.